What's going on, you guys? I'm your girl, Coach Deshawn, your marriage communication coach. I am live with
Ife, how are you guys?
and
Alfonso, West.
and listen, we're gonna talk about marriage, relationship, all kinds of good things. And I'm gonna allow them to ask a question, and we kind of come up with some solutions, just an easy solution for whatever problem issue you have. So I'm all about bridging the communication gap, moving forward. So meaning I don't deal with that trauma, meaning that's for the therapist. So if you got the childhood trauma, the marriage trauma, I'm not your girl. But if you're ready to move forward, then I'm your girl. So y'all ready to move forward?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Falling forward.
So who has the first question?
I got one.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Why is so hard to lead a woman?
Ooh.
Say that one more time.
Ooh.
Why is so hard to lead a woman?
Ooh, that's a good one. You want to go from
Very interesting.
a woman's perspective before I give the coaching perspective?
It's hard if you think it's hard. I also think that leading a woman is challenging if you don't know yourself and you don't stand strong in who you are. Because there are a lot of strong women nowadays. Well, we've always been strong. But in order for you to lead a woman, you have to be able to allow her to be submissive. And most women don't know how to be submissive because they've never learned that they can trust a man to fall back and take control.
That's deep.
That's deep.
I'm told that I'm very deep.
And let's go a little deeper. Well, not even a little deeper, because again, we make things complicated, right?
Very true.
We make relationships complicated. And your question is a valid question, right? So basically, women tend to, not all women, I don't like to generalize women, but most women, we like to live in the past. So we have not let go of the past traumas. We hear what our grandmothers have been through, our aunts, all of our girlfriends, the mother. And so we're like, the first thing comes to our mind when it comes to a man, oh, they can't do this because I saw my grandmother do it. I saw my mama take care. I did this, that, and other. So they're already programmed in their head what you can and cannot do, right? Versus asking and trusting the process. And many women, a lot of us, because I was once there, we're afraid of what others don't think, honestly. Because it's not normal. It's not normal now to let guys lead them, right? So the first thing, if you let a guy lead you, with usually your girlfriends, but the girlfriend's gonna say, child, I wouldn't do that. Child, I don't know. You see what he doing, this, that, and other. Because we already got people in the background. So that's the main reason why women don't allow y'all to lead. Is not right. However, if you get a partner who's saying, you know what, I'm done with the drama, I don't want to do what my grandmama did, even though they had to do what they needed to do, and even then there were some things that they did not let go. But if you get a partner that said, I'm ready to move forward with you, then she's gonna let you lead.
I also believe that it's very important, again, actions speak louder than words. A lot of men talk the talk, but they do not walk the walk. If you want to lead, you need to be the boss. You need to handle business. I shouldn't have to follow up and ask you questions. I should see it in your actions.
So with that, what does that look like for you? When you say they should be
it
the
looks
boss?
like something as simple as you saying, oh, I'm gonna take the trash out, and you did take the trash out. And it's now 11 o'clock, and I'm looking at that trash. So now I gotta take that trash out. Or you telling me, oh, I'm gonna take care of that bill for you. I understand you ain't got it. You should be handing me that money for that bill because you offered it. I didn't ask you. So if you didn't take care of what you said, then again, I can't trust you to lead because you're not a man of your word.
So let me
But
ask.
I'm not saying that's you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's you, but there's a lot of people who do not move intentionally. That's men or women.
So
I'm
is
the
it
kind of
that,
person that it doesn't matter what your sex is, people got character flaws, period.
so is it that the person is not moving when you want them to move? Because like, now that is a big, problem. I remember having that issue with, in my first marriage. He did not take out the trash when I wanted him to, because I was that OCD person. I needed the house to be clean, X, Y, and Z, right? So I put him on this time schedule. Not to say he did not take out the trash, but I wanted it, when I said it, then and there, right?
No.
But that's where a lot of women, so most of them women would do, they want you to do it when they want to,
That
want to
seems
do
like
it.
somebody who's setting you up for failure. I'm
Well,
more or less
that's-
like you saying, Ife, I'm gonna take care of that bill, and I'm telling you, oh, it needed to be taken care of by Friday.
Mhm.
Friday rolled around and you still ain't updated me on, okay, I got you, or communicated, then now we have a problem.
But see, that's what, like a real man, it wouldn't have to come to that. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have to be like, oh, she shouldn't have to ask him to take care of that. There should be no problem.
So that's where your communication comes in. You let that person, you let your partner know, like, hey, I don't have it today, but I will have it, or I will take care of it. And we have to sit back and trust you that you're gonna do it. We have
Still, that it
to.
don't even come down, sometimes it's not even about the bill, it's about also communicating that you're unhappy in a relationship. Cause some men expect you to, and men, women, it don't really matter, want you to be mind readers, and that pisses me off. Like, you need to be able to speak your mind. And I know up north thing, because I'm from New York, we just say it as a TI is. So, I mean, but not everybody grew up that way or feels comfortable expressing their truth. But to me, if you can't be honest and communicate, as you say, about what you really feel, you can't lead. And I'm talking about as far as the man version. I mean, as far as I'm speaking about men.
Can I say something? So one thing an old timer told me that stood out, right? He told me a woman with no instruction is headed for self-destruction.
Interesting. I like that one. That was easy. I see that.
Like, you could be in a situation where financial literacy.
Yeah.
Because I believe in whatever the relationship started, it's gonna end up. So if the relationship started off with sex, guess what? It's gonna end up with sex.
Really?
If the relationship started with money,
Mm-hmm.
that's how it's gonna end.
So
That's
elaborate, you
interesting.
meaning like if it started off with good sex, it's gonna end with bad sex? Or how do you
It just
elaborate?
it's just gonna be like a thing. It's like, well, I can't say
So you don't believe in change in your relationship?
Now I believe in change, but like I'm just saying for certain scenarios, like women or men, they put themselves out there, they love hard, whatever. But I feel like, and it always come full circle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like if you talk to somebody, they got if I talk to hypothetically, let's say for example Keisha, right? She got a relationship problem with her boyfriend, right? So the boyfriend, he cheat and she know about it, but she go talk to me about the problem. You know what I mean? Instead of addressing the problem with him, she looking for like a skate ticket. So,
Yeah.
So like once you start locking in with Keisha, you know what I mean? If she didn't handle that with him, then how you think that relationship gonna end when you and her start locking in?
Yeah.
She gonna do something.
Okay, that's what you're saying. Yeah.
You're on a pizza cycle, basically.
Yeah, what I'm saying, because she custom to that behavior.
Well, that's a you problem. When you start doing that, that means you gotta look in that mirror and say, what is it that I keep attracting? Why I keep attracting the same type of relationships? What is it about me? So usually that happens when people don't know themselves or are afraid to get to know themselves. And that's the period that most of us skip over. We go straight into relationships without getting to know ourselves. There's an activity that I have in one of my journals, and I ask people, men and women, to get in a full length mirror, butt naked, fresh out the shower, whatever, butt naked, and you take a scan of who you are, inside out, from inside outside. Because what happens, we never take a look at ourselves. We never think about our mind, our mental, our social, our physical, none of that, right? So we just give ourselves spiritually, mentally, physically to another person without us knowing what we want and being honest with what we want and who we are. So now we're expecting this next person to, as you said, read our minds, when the whole time it's like, that's not what I really want. That's not who I am, versus being honest. But you have to start with yourself. And that's why I say your love, in order to love somebody else, you gotta really love yourself. And most of us skip over that part. Because, I love myself. That's
to love
different.
yourself is to know yourself.
Exactly.
Most people don't know themselves,
Right.
so they can't
So we
do what
haven't
they
had
want.
that chance to do that. Because we go straight into relationships and we get the butterflies and all of that, right?
Mhm.
Which is cool. But the reality is, that's not gonna sustain your relationship. Because there are gonna be some times where you're not gonna like your partner. You're gonna love your partner, but you're not gonna like your partner. And that's what happened with the communication. It starts to break down because now you're like, all these changes that took place, what happened? Because y'all never talked about that. Y'all fell in love, boom, she cute, you cute, oh, we together. But now changes, life has happened, you don't know how to handle that. So that's where that breakdown of communication comes, and that's where now she doesn't trust you to lead her because you never talked about that.
Okay, so what if you do talk about it
Mm-hmm.
and then go out one day after the other?
You still haven't talked about it. You haven't had you have not had, and it doesn't happen overnight. This is
Hold on. What he's saying, no, I hear what he's saying. I hear what you're saying. And really what it boils down to is, even though you talk about communication, most people don't know how to communicate effectively, and most people don't know how to listen.
Right, that comprehension, that's why I said it goes.
So regardless if he's
hand in
sharing
Yeah,
100% of how he feels,
yeah,
the other person has to be open to
Yeah.
listening to what he has to say without being defensive.
right.
First of all,
Yeah.
and they gotta also give him a safe space so he can share what he has to say. But a lot of people, because again, I believe in this, not this body bag, but the spirit itself. You gotta understand that people come with their traumas and wounds and stuff like that. So they gotta be able to hear you, and you can express what you want till you turn blue. But if that person's not willing, exactly, and if they're not willing to register or hear what you gotta say, you can get a therapist, a life coach, which y'all gonna have to work on being able to hear each other. But if that person don't wanna do the work, now you have to examine, can I deal with this or do I need to move on?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Don't settle, because we already had this conversation before we take. Life is too short, or life is not as long as we think it is. And people, especially nowadays, are experiencing a lot of health challenges. And so, it's still a health challenge, But regardless of the fact, mental, physical, whatever, you need to stop playing with your life because you're meant to live it fully. And for some reason, we have this mindset that you're supposed to just work and grind. That is not it.
No.
That is not life. Life is a balance. You're supposed to be out here, your work should be hopefully your passion or some way you providing a service for other people. But in giving that service, you need to find a way to feed yourself. And that's why most people don't know what they want, because they don't take time to feed themselves. And I mean feed yourself spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, and physically. In a healthy way.
Right.
In a healthy way.
So this is what I want you to do, because I want to get to Ife's question. What I want you to do, I want you to connect with me. Connect with me so that we can move forward with it, because again, that question that you asked is a valid question. And you do want to know why women don't allow men to lead. And if you don't know who you are, then you're not going to be able to, she's not going to see you as that leader anyway. You see what I'm saying? It's like no matter what you provide or whatnot.
Or what if she don't want to be lead?
If she doesn't want to be led again, we're going to finish this discussion because that is a good question. Again, going back to what is it that you want. So listen, make sure that you tune in. This is Coach Deshawn, your marriage communication coach. As we wrap this up, because we're going to come back and finish this off with Alfonso and Ife. Y'all ready for this conversation?
Yeah.
Let's go.